This audiobook will guide you into the hidden workings of the metaphysical law, the ultimate force behind manifestation. You will discover that nothing in your life is by chance. Every thread of your reality weaves itself around your consciousness. Awaken now to your true creative power. The Metaphysical Law. Introduction. Deep within the eternal dance of creation lies a singular truth, a fundamental principle that orchestrates the grand symphony of existence. This supreme law, more ancient than time itself, governs every particle, every thought, and every moment of manifestation in our vast universe. It stands as the master key, unlocking the gates to unlimited potential that resides within you. Through the ages, mystics and sages have whispered of this cosmic force, the metaphysical law that binds all other universal laws into perfect harmony. Like tributaries flowing into a mighty river, all spiritual principles merge into this one supreme truth. Your consciousness shapes your reality. The universe operates as an infinite mirror, reflecting back to you the exact vibration of your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs. Each moment of your existence ripples through the cosmic fabric, creating patterns that manifest as your lived experience. Nothing occurs by chance. Every circumstance in your life emerges from the interplay between your inner world and the responsive nature of universal energy. This wisdom has been carefully preserved and transmitted through generations of initiates who understood its transformative power. Now, as you encounter these teachings, you step into an ancient lineage of conscious creators who have wielded this knowledge to shape their destinies. The metaphysical law reveals that true power does not come from manipulating external circumstances, but from aligning your being with the natural flow of universal forces. As you attune yourself to this supreme principle, you will discover that the universe yields to your desires with the same certainty that dawn follows night. You stand now at the threshold of awakening, ready to reclaim your divine birthright as a conscious creator. The knowledge you are about to receive is not new. It is a remembrance, an unveiling of wisdom your soul has always carried. Part 1, Awakening to the Supreme Law. Chapter 1, The Law That Rules All Other Laws. In the ancient city of Sarnath, there lived a weaver named Eleanor, whose hands moved with grace across her loom. Day after day she created tapestries of breathtaking beauty, yet something within her yearned for deeper meaning in her work. One evening, as moonlight filtered through her workshop window, she discovered a single golden thread, shimmering with an otherworldly radiance. When Eleanor wove this golden thread into her tapestries, something miraculous occurred. Every other thread, regardless of color or texture, aligned itself in perfect harmony around the golden strand. Patterns emerged more vivid than before, and designs flowed with unprecedented grace. Eleanor realized that this single thread held the power to unite all others in divine orchestration. Just as Eleanor's golden thread brought harmony to her weaving, the metaphysical law serves as the supreme principle that unifies all spiritual laws. It flows through the law of attraction, guiding your magnetic power to draw experiences. It pulses through the law of vibration, orchestrating the frequencies of your thoughts and emotions. It moves through the law of cause and effect, ensuring that every action aligns with universal order. In the kingdom of Aldoria, there lived a master locksmith named Walter. For years, he studied the intricate mechanisms of every lock in the realm, searching for the underlying pattern that connected them all. Through patient observation and deep understanding, he discovered that beneath their apparent differences, all locks shared a fundamental design. With this knowledge, Walter crafted a single master key, its form reflecting the essential truth he had uncovered. This key opened not just one door, but every door in the kingdom. Those who witnessed its power marveled. But Walter understood that he hadn't created something new. He had simply revealed the underlying unity that had always existed. Like Walter's master key, your understanding of the metaphysical law grants you access to all spiritual truths. When you align with this supreme principle, resistance falls away and manifestation flows naturally through you. To embrace this truth, find a quiet space where you can sit undisturbed. Close your eyes and breathe deeply, allowing your awareness to settle into stillness. Visualize yourself as a clear channel through which the metaphysical law flows freely. Feel the universal energy moving through your being, unobstructed and pure. As this sensation grows stronger, speak these words with quiet certainty. I am one with the supreme law that governs all creation. Through me, this law expresses itself perfectly. Chapter 2, The Cosmic Mirror of Your Mind. In a sunlit attic filled with dust motes and memories, young Mabel discovered an ornate mirror beneath a faded velvet cloth. Unlike ordinary mirrors that captured mere physical reflections, this one revealed something extraordinary. As she gazed into its depths, she witnessed not her face, but the manifestation of her thoughts taking form in ethereal patterns. When she thought of abundance, golden light swirled through the glass. When doubt crept in, shadows gathered at the edges. Through this mystical looking glass, Mabel learned that her mind operated as a cosmic mirror, continuously projecting its contents into the physical world. Each thought, whether bright with hope or heavy with fear, rippled outward into the universe, attracting experiences that matched its vibration with unfailing accuracy. Your mind functions in precisely the same way as Mabel's mirror. It projects your inner world outward, drawing to you circumstances that resonate with your mental frequency. The universe responds not only to your conscious wishes, but to every thought you harbor, the ones you nurture intentionally, and those that run beneath the surface of awareness. Along the windswept coast stood a lighthouse where Samuel kept his solitary watch. Night after night, he created patterns with his beacon, unaware that each sequence sent ships on different courses. Some patterns guided vessels safely to harbor, while others inadvertently steered them toward treacherous waters. Only when a seasoned captain shared the impact of his signals did Samuel understand the power of his unconscious patterns. Like Samuel's lighthouse, your thoughts broadcast continuous signals across the ocean of existence. Every mental pattern you maintain acts as a beacon, drawing experiences that match its frequency. Often you remain unaware of these patterns until you witness their reflections in your life circumstances. To harness this understanding, dedicate 10 minutes each morning and evening to quiet observation of your mental landscape. Without judgment, notice the thoughts that cross your mind repeatedly. Record these patterns in a journal, noting their vibrational quality. Do they resonate with abundance or lack, joy or fear, expansion or limitation? Choose one pattern that you wish to transform and craft a new thought that aligns with your desires. Return to this new thought throughout the day, allowing it to take root in your consciousness and broadcast its frequency into the universe. Chapter 3. The Sacred Chamber of Emotion. In a dimly lit concert hall, Florence sat at her piano, fingers hovering over the ivory keys. For years she had mastered the technical aspects of composition, the precise arrangement of notes, the mathematical perfection of rhythm and harmony. Yet something was missing. Her music, though flawless, failed to stir the soul. One evening, as grief over her mother's passing overwhelmed her, Florence's hands found the keys. Through her tears, she played not from her mind, but from the depths of her heart. The melody that emerged transformed the empty hall into a temple of raw emotion. In that moment, she understood. Notes created sound, but emotion created music that could heal, inspire, and transform. This truth mirrors the way the metaphysical law operates in your life. Your thoughts are like musical notes on a page. They provide structure and direction. But it is your emotions that breathe life into these thoughts, transforming them from mere mental concepts into powerful forces of creation. The universe responds not to the words you speak or the images you visualize, but to the emotional energy you emit. Think of Clarence, who tended his fields with methodical care. He planted identical seeds in different soils across his land. In rich, nurturing earth, the seeds flourished into abundant crops. In poor, depleted soil, the same seeds struggled to survive. After months of observation, Clarence realized a profound truth. The soil determined the harvest more than the seed itself. Your emotional state is the soil in which your desires take root. When you plant your intentions in the fertile ground of joy, gratitude, and positive expectation, they grow naturally into magnificent manifestations. But when your desires are sown in the barren earth of doubt, fear, or unworthiness, even the most powerful intentions struggle to thrive. To transmute this wisdom into practical power, engage in this emotional alchemy ritual. Stand in a quiet space and identify an emotion that hinders your manifestation. Feel where this emotion resides in your body. Now shake your body vigorously, releasing this limiting emotion from your cells. When ready, consciously step forward into a new space, physically and energetically. In this new position, summon the emotion of already having your desire fulfilled. Let this feeling permeate every cell of your being. Notice how your body responds to this new emotional state. Perhaps your shoulders relax, your breath deepens, or a smile plays at your lips. Remain here until this new emotion feels as real as the ground beneath your feet. Chapter 4. The Divine Breath of Intention. In the ancient city of Murano, where the art of glass blowing had been practiced for centuries, Josephine stood before her furnace, gathering molten glass on her pipe. Unlike other artisans who focus solely on technique, she had discovered something extraordinary. When she infused her breath with pure intention while shaping the glass, her creations took on qualities that transcended mere beauty. As she worked, Josephine noticed that pieces blown with intentions of healing found their way to those in need of comfort. Vases created with thoughts of abundance invariably brought prosperity to their owners. Bowls shaped with love became centerpieces of homes where harmony flourished. Through her art, she witnessed how clear intention transformed ordinary matter into vessels of manifestation. This wisdom reveals the subtle power that shapes your reality. Intention acts as the divine breath that animates your desires, distinguishing between superficial wants and authentic aspirations aligned with your highest purpose. Like Josephine's focused breath transforming molten glass, your clear intention shapes the formless energy of potential into tangible reality. Consider Thomas, whose nights were spent tending the coastal lighthouse. Through years of service, he discovered that the quality of oil in his lamp determined the reach of its guiding light. Pure oil burned bright and clear, penetrating the densest fog to guide ships safely to shore. Contaminated oil produced a dim, flickering flame that barely illuminated the rocks below. So too does the purity of your intention determine the power of your manifestation. When your intention springs from authentic desire, unburdened by doubt or the need for validation, it cuts through the fog of circumstance like a beacon. But when clouded by attachment to specific outcomes or fear of failure, its power diminishes, leading to delayed or distorted manifestations. To harness this truth, create your own intention-setting ceremony. Find a quiet space and light a candle, allowing its flame to remind you of your own inner light. Close your eyes and attune to your breath. With each inhalation, draw in the limitless energy of the universe, feeling it fill your being. As you exhale, direct this energy into your heart's deepest desire. See your intention growing brighter and more vivid with each breath, like a star gaining brilliance in the night sky. Continue until your intention feels alive within you, pulsing with its own luminous energy. Through this practice, you learn to infuse your desires with the pure intention that transforms thought into reality, just as Josephine's breath transformed glass into vessels of magic. Chapter 5, The Eternal Now. In a quaint antique shop tucked away in a forgotten corner of the city, Harriet discovered a peculiar timepiece. Unlike ordinary clocks that marked the passing hours, this one bore a single word on its face: now. At first she thought it broken, but as she carried it home, she noticed something extraordinary. Whenever she focused completely on the present moment, truly inhabiting the now, time seemed to flow differently around her. While preparing tea one morning, fully absorbed in the ritual of warming the pot and measuring the leaves, Harriet noticed her desires materializing with unexpected swiftness. A friend she'd been hoping to reconnect with called that very instant. An opportunity she'd been visualizing appeared in her email. The more she anchored herself in the present, the more life aligned with her intentions. This revelation unveils a fundamental truth about the metaphysical law. It operates solely in the present moment. The past exists as memories, colored by perception and interpretation. The future remains a realm of possibility, shaped by imagination and expectation. But the point of creation, where thought transforms into reality, exists only in the eternal now. Consider Edwin, who spent decades searching for what he called the door to happiness. He traveled the world, studied with masters, and accumulated wisdom, always believing his fulfillment lay just beyond the next horizon. In his final moments, as he sat in his garden watching sunlight dance through leaves, Edwin laughed. The door he'd sought had always been exactly where he stood, in the perfect presence of each moment. Like Edwin, you may be projecting your power of manifestation into some distant future, missing the creative force available to you right now. When you disperse your energy between past regrets and future anxieties, you dilute your manifestation power. But when you gather yourself fully in the present moment, you access the timeless space where all possibility converges. To harness this truth, create your present moment anchor. Choose an everyday activity, perhaps brewing morning coffee, walking to your car, or washing dishes. Transform this simple task into a sacred ritual of presence. Feel the weight of the coffee pot, notice the temperature of the water, observe the aroma rising in spirals. Bring your complete awareness to every sensation, every thought, every emotion that surfaces. As you perform this ritual, affirm with conviction, in this eternal moment I am complete. In this eternal now, I create my reality. Let these words resonate through your being, anchoring you in the infinite power of the present moment. Chapter 6, The Illusion of Separation. In the depths of night, Margaret found herself immersed in an extraordinary dream. The world around her transformed, revealing gossamer threads of light connecting everything in existence. These luminous strands wove through space, linking each person, object, and thought in an intricate cosmic tapestry. Upon awakening, she realized with startling clarity that her dream had pierced the veil of ordinary perception, showing her not a fantasy but the true nature of reality. The illusory walls of separation that once seemed so solid began to dissolve in her understanding. What appeared as distinct and separate objects were merely different expressions of one unified field of consciousness. Every desire she held already existed within this field, not as distant possibilities to be created, but as present realities awaiting recognition. In a distant village lived two brothers, William and James, separated moments after birth by circumstances beyond their control. Growing up in different families on opposite sides of the country, they remained unaware of each other's existence. Yet their lives unfolded in remarkable synchronicity. Both became master carpenters, chose to paint their houses the same shade of blue, and named their firstborn daughters Rose. Without any physical connection, their choices mirrored each other perfectly, as if guided by an invisible hand. At age 40, both brothers independently decided to open their workshops to apprentices from underprivileged backgrounds. When asked about this decision, each expressed identical sentiments. Knowledge flows like water. It seeks its own level and belongs to everyone. Their parallel lives demonstrated a profound truth. Connection transcends physical proximity, operating at the level of consciousness itself. This timeless wisdom reveals that your desires are not separate from you, existing in some distant future to be attained. They are already present within the unified field of consciousness that encompasses all possibility. The perceived gap between you and your aspirations exists only in thought, not in absolute reality. To dissolve this illusion of separation, settle into the unity meditation. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes and bring awareness to your breath. Feel the boundaries of your physical form, then gradually allow these boundaries to soften. Experience your consciousness expanding beyond your body, merging first with the air around you, then with the room, the building, the neighborhood. Continue expanding until you sense your connection with the entire universe. In this expanded state, recognize that everything you desire already exists within this unified field of consciousness. You are not separate from your desires, you are one with them, as William and James were one despite their apparent separation. Chapter 7. The Alchemy of Belief. In the ancient city of Damascus, young Emmett toiled in his master's workshop, surrounded by bubbling crucibles and mysterious powders. For years he had searched for the legendary philosopher's stone, the mystical substance said to transform base metals into gold. Night after night he mixed elements and whispered incantations, yet lead remained lead, copper stayed copper. One evening, exhausted from another failed attempt, Emmett dozed off at his workbench. In his dreams, he saw himself successfully transmuting metal into gold, but the stone he sought was nowhere to be seen. Instead, he witnessed his own absolute certainty illuminating the metal from within, transforming its very essence. When he awoke, a profound understanding washed over him. The philosopher's stone was not a physical object, but the unwavering power of belief itself. With this revelation, Emmett approached his work differently. Rather than seeking an external catalyst, he cultivated an unshakable inner knowing. Only when his belief became absolute, when doubt dissolved completely, did the lead before him begin to shimmer and transform into pure gold. In a distant valley lived Martha, a quiet woman who inherited a plot of land from her eccentric uncle. The villagers called it the dead zone, convinced by generations of failed cultivation that nothing could grow there. "Save your energy," they warned her. "That soil is cursed." But Martha, who had never learned to doubt the earth's abundance, saw only possibility in the dark soil. Each morning she would walk the land, feeling its potential beneath her feet. She planted seeds with the same certainty that the sun would rise, tended them with the same faith that rain would fall. Gradually, green shoots emerged where nothing had grown before. The villagers watched in amazement as Martha's garden flourished, producing vegetables of extraordinary size and sweetness. The land that everyone believed was barren transformed into an oasis of abundance, challenging decades of collective certainty. Your beliefs operate with this same alchemical power. Like Emmett's unwavering certainty or Martha's innocent faith, they transform the raw material of possibility into tangible reality. Every experience you encounter first passes through the filter of your beliefs, which act as invisible alchemists, determining what manifests in your life. To harness this transformative power, begin the belief alchemy practice. Take a piece of paper and write down a limiting belief that has been blocking your manifestation. Light a candle and ceremonially burn this paper, watching your old belief turn to ash. On parchment paper, using a pen reserved for this sacred purpose, write your new empowering belief. For the next 21 days, as the sun rises and sets, read this belief aloud, feeling its truth resonating through your entire being, until it becomes your new operating reality. Chapter 8. The Threshold of Surrender. In the heart of an ancient temple where shadows danced with filtered sunlight, Benjamin stood before a towering door adorned with mystical symbols. For 7 years he had pushed, pulled, and strained against its weathered surface, convinced that through sheer determination he could unlock its secrets. His hands grew calloused, his muscles ached, yet the door remained steadfast. One evening, exhausted from another futile attempt, Benjamin simply leaned against the door, his body surrendering to fatigue. To his astonishment, the door swung open effortlessly, revealing a chamber bathed in golden light. In that moment, he understood that his years of forcing had been the very obstacle to his progress. Through the ancient wisdom of the metaphysical law, we learn that true power flows not from imposing our will upon the universe, but from aligning ourselves with its natural current. Like a leaf carried by a stream, manifestation occurs most gracefully when we release our grip on how things should unfold. Along the banks of a mighty river lived Agatha, who each day needed to cross its turbulent waters to reach the village market. Morning after morning, she fought against the current, her arms burning as she attempted to swim directly across. Each crossing left her exhausted, sometimes carrying her far downstream from her intended destination. One morning, observing how fallen leaves traveled the river, Agatha had an insight. Instead of fighting the current, she allowed it to carry her, making subtle adjustments to guide her journey. To her amazement, she reached the opposite bank with remarkable ease, arriving even closer to the market than before. The river, like the metaphysical law, knew the optimal path. Agatha's surrender to its flow, coupled with gentle guidance, achieved what force could not. Your manifestations operate by this same principle. When you release your rigid expectations about timing and method, you allow the universal intelligence to orchestrate circumstances in ways your limited perspective could never imagine. To embrace this wisdom, perform the surrender ritual. Find a quiet spot near flowing water, a stream, river, or even a garden fountain. Write your desire on a leaf, holding it gently as you acknowledge your attachment to controlling its manifestation. As you place the leaf in the water, speak these words: I release my need to control and trust in the perfect unfolding of the metaphysical law. Watch as the water carries your leaf away, knowing that like Benjamin at the temple door and Agatha in the river, your surrender opens the path to effortless manifestation. Chapter 9, The Sacred Contract. In the dimly lit attic of her ancestral home, Henrietta brushed decades of dust from an ornate wooden chest. Inside, nestled among forgotten treasures, lay a scroll bound with golden thread. As she unraveled it with trembling fingers, her breath caught, at the top, written in shimmering ink, was her name. Below stretched endless blank pages, pristine and full of possibility. In this moment, the ancient wisdom reveals itself. Your destiny is not a predetermined path, but a sacred canvas awaiting your conscious creation. Through the metaphysical law, you have entered into a divine partnership with the universe, an agreement that transcends the limitations of ordinary existence. This covenant speaks not of restrictions, but of infinite potential. It acknowledges your sovereign right to shape reality through your alignment with universal forces, while embracing the sacred responsibility that comes with such power. Like Henrietta discovering her scroll, you hold the quill that writes your destiny. In a distant valley, George inherited a vast estate from an unknown benefactor. Yet for years he continued living in the modest groundskeeper's cottage at the edge of the property, tending the gardens as he always had. One spring morning, while clearing old files from the cottage, he discovered a deed bearing his name. The document revealed that he was master of not just the cottage, but the magnificent mansion on the hill and all the land surrounding it. Standing in his small room, George realized he had been living in self-imposed limitation, while abundance awaited his recognition. The deed had always existed, requiring only his awareness to claim its promise. Similarly, your divine contract with the universe already exists, a deed to infinite possibility awaiting your conscious claim. To activate this sacred agreement, create your own divine contract ceremony. In the quietude of night, take a piece of parchment paper and write, I, your name, hereby acknowledge and accept my divine right as a conscious creator in partnership with the infinite universe. I claim my power to manifest in alignment with the metaphysical law, accepting both the privilege and responsibility of this sacred trust. Sign this declaration under the vast expanse of stars, speaking each word with conviction. Let the night sky witness your commitment to step fully into your role as a conscious co-creator with the universe. Chapter 10, The Metaphysical Compass. Through howling winds and towering waves, Abigail clutched her ship's wheel as her trusted compass spun wildly, rendered useless by the tempest's fury. In that moment of desperation, she closed her eyes and felt a different kind of guidance emerge, an inner knowing that pulsed like a heartbeat, pointing not north but toward her soul's deepest longing. Following this mysterious pull, she navigated through the storm to discover an island paradise that had existed only in her dreams. This tale unveils a profound truth about the metaphysical law. Within you exists a guidance system more reliable than any external instrument. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions align in perfect harmony, they create an internal compass that unerringly guides you toward manifestation. Like three arrows pointing in the same direction, these elements generate a force that parts the waters of uncertainty and lights the path to your desires. In the vast expanse of an ancient desert, Victor found himself lost after a sandstorm obscured all familiar landmarks. Instead of succumbing to panic, he learned to read the subtle language of the universe, how certain birds flew before rainfall, how wind patterns shaped the dunes, how stars wheeled overhead in meaningful patterns. By developing trust in these gentle nudges from nature, he not only survived, but discovered an oasis more abundant than any marked on his maps. Your journey of manifestation follows similar principles. The universe constantly offers guidance through synchronicities, intuitive flashes, and moments of divine timing. These signs speak in whispers rather than shouts, requiring you to develop sensitivity to their subtle messages. Each coincidence, each unexplained knowing, each perfectly timed encounter serves as a coordinate on your path to creation. To attune yourself to this inner guidance system, practice the metaphysical compass calibration. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Sit comfortably and place both hands over your heart center. Close your eyes and breathe deeply, allowing your awareness to settle into the gentle rhythm of your heartbeat. Ask silently, "What is my highest path?" Then remain receptive to the subtle signals that arise. Throughout your day, carry a special journal dedicated to recording signs and synchronicities. Note the unexpected encounters that feel significant, the recurring numbers or symbols that catch your attention, the sudden insights that arrive unbidden. These are the coordinates of your metaphysical compass, guiding you toward manifestation with unwavering accuracy. Part 2. Deepening your command of the law. Chapter 11. The Vibrational Signature. In her sunlit atelier, Beatrice stood surrounded by hundreds of delicate glass vials, each containing essence distilled from nature's most precious elements. Through years of dedication to her craft, she had mastered the art of traditional perfumery. But one morning, she discovered something extraordinary. As she crafted a custom fragrance, she noticed that the scents seemed to dance differently for each person who approached, rearranging themselves into unique harmonies that matched the individual's innermost nature. Through careful observation, Beatrice realized that when someone wore a perfume that perfectly matched their essence, remarkable coincidences began to unfold in their lives. Opportunities appeared, relationships blossomed, and long-held dreams materialized as if by magic. She had stumbled upon an ancient truth. Every soul broadcasts its own unique fragrance in the invisible realm, attracting or repelling experiences based on its vibrational signature. The core teachings reveal that, like Beatrice's perfumes, every desire you hold emanates a distinct energetic pattern. This pattern exists as a specific frequency in the universal field, waiting to be matched. When you align your entire being, thoughts, emotions, beliefs, and actions with the vibrational signature of your desire, you become an irresistible magnet for its manifestation. In a small coastal town, Edgar manned his radio station through long nights, connecting ships at sea with their homes on land. One evening, while adjusting his equipment, he made a fascinating discovery. The messages he sought came through clearly only when his radio's frequency precisely matched the broadcasting station's signal. Even the slightest misalignment resulted in static or silence. This simple observation carried a profound metaphysical truth. Like Edgar's radio, you are both a transmitter and receiver in the universal field of creation. Your desires exist as clear signals being broadcast by the universe, but you can only receive them when you eliminate the static of misaligned vibrations, the doubt that clouds your certainty, the fear that distorts your faith, the contradictory thoughts that scramble your signal. The vibrational attunement practice invites you to sit quietly and identify the essential qualities of your desire, not just its physical form, but its energetic essence. Close your eyes and feel these qualities alive within you, as if they are already manifest. Throughout your day, pause periodically to check your vibrational alignment. Are your thoughts, emotions, and actions broadcasting the same frequency as your desire? When you notice discord, gently adjust your inner state until you feel the resonance return. Chapter 12. The Quantum Leap of Faith. High above the mist-shrouded canyon, Josephine stood at the platform's edge, her balance pole steady in her hands. The distant platform remained hidden in the swirling fog, yet her heart held no trace of doubt. Each step along the wire would carry her forward, not because she could see her destination, but because she knew with unshakable certainty that it awaited her. As she stepped onto the wire, the mist enveloped her completely. The world below vanished, the wire beneath her feet providing the only tangible connection to physical reality. Yet in this moment of apparent isolation, Josephine felt most connected to the universal truth. That certainty transcends sight, that knowing surpasses seeing. Through this profound example, the core teachings reveal that faith operates at the quantum level of reality, where possibilities collapse into manifestation through the power of absolute knowing. This is not the blind faith of hoping without evidence, but rather a deeper perception that penetrates beyond the veil of physical appearances to touch the underlying truth of all creation. In a small farming community, Harold stood in his parched fields, spreading seeds across soil that had not felt rain's touch in many seasons. His neighbors gathered at their fences, shaking their heads at what they perceived as madness, investing an entire harvest in ground that seemed destined for failure. "The rains will come," Harold said simply, continuing his work with steady hands and peaceful heart. Days turned to weeks, and just as the first sprouts pushed through the soil, clouds gathered on the horizon. The rains arrived with perfect timing, nurturing his crops to an abundance that defied all previous records. Through Harold's story, we understand that faith creates a channel through which the metaphysical law can operate unimpeded by doubt or contradiction. Like a conductor offering the path of least resistance to electricity. Your unwavering faith provides the clearest conduit for manifestation to flow from the invisible into the visible realm. The quantum leap practice invites you to stand before a line drawn upon the ground. This line represents the threshold between doubt and knowing, between questioning and certainty. Speak aloud the doubt that has held you in hesitation. I release the uncertainty that blocks my path. Then, with purposeful intent, physically leap across this line while declaring your new state of absolute knowing. I step fully into unshakable faith in my manifestation. This physical action imprints upon your subconscious mind, marking the moment when you transcended doubt and embrace the quantum certainty that precedes all manifestation. Chapter 13, The Spiral of Ascension. Night after night, Charlotte found herself ascending the same spiral staircase in her dreams. The ornate brass railings, the marble steps worn smooth by countless footsteps, the arched windows that opened to an endless sky, all familiar landmarks that seemed to mock her apparent lack of progress. With each circuit, frustration mounted as she recognized the same architectural features, the same play of light and shadow across the walls. Yet one night something shifted in her perception. As she passed a window she had seen countless times before, she noticed that while the window remained unchanged, her vantage point had elevated significantly. The landscape visible through the glass revealed greater depths and broader horizons than before. In that moment of clarity, Charlotte understood. She wasn't moving in circles, but ascending in a spiral, each turn bringing her to a higher perspective of the same eternal truths. This ascension mirrors the very nature of your journey with the metaphysical law. Rather than progressing in a straight line from ignorance to enlightenment, you move in an upward spiral, repeatedly encountering similar situations and challenges, but each time from an elevated level of consciousness. What appears as repetition actually offers opportunities for deeper integration and more refined understanding. Theodore's tale further illuminates this principle. Upon inheriting an antique music box from his grandmother, He found himself listening to its simple melody throughout different phases of his life. As a young man, he heard only a pleasant tune. Years later, he discovered subtle harmonies weaving beneath the main theme. With each passing decade, the same melody revealed new layers of complexity, counter-melodies, intricate rhythmic patterns, and emotional depths that his younger self could not have comprehended. Like Theodore's evolving appreciation of the music box's melody, your grasp of the metaphysical law deepens with each turn of the spiral. The fundamental principles remain unchanged, yet your capacity to perceive their subtle nuances and apply them with greater sophistication expands continuously. The spiral journal practice invites you to document this evolutionary journey. Select a recurring theme in your manifestation work, perhaps abundance, relationships, or self-worth. Reflect on at least 3 distinct moments when you've encountered this theme, noting how your understanding has transformed with each iteration. Then, looking forward, envision your next level of mastery. Complete your entry by drawing a spiral, marking your current position and the next elevation point in your ascending journey. This visual representation serves as both a map of your progress and a compass for your continued evolution. Chapter 14. The Shadow of Resistance. Nathaniel stood before the marble block, his chisel poised to strike. Within the stone, he could see his masterpiece waiting to emerge, a figure of such transcendent beauty it would move viewers to tears. Yet each time he touched metal to stone, the razor-sharp edge of his tool inexplicably dulled, as if the marble itself resisted his efforts. Day after day, he sharpened his instruments, tried different angles of approach, even sought rarer and harder metals for his tools. But the result remained the same, dulled chisels and frustrated attempts. It wasn't until he sat in meditation one evening, exhausted from another failed attempt, that the truth revealed itself. The resistance wasn't coming from the stone, but from the trembling in his own hands, born of his deep-seated fear of fully expressing his gifts. The universe mirrors this pattern in countless ways. When manifestation seems blocked by external circumstances, the promotion that keeps eluding you, the relationship that never quite materializes, the abundance that remains just out of reach, look first within. These apparent obstacles often reflect your own unconscious resistance, your hidden doubts and fears made manifest in the physical world. Consider Madeline's garden, a plot of earth blessed with perfect soil, ideal sunlight, and abundant rain. Yet season after season, her carefully planted seeds failed to thrive. Puzzled by this mysterious blight, she installed cameras to monitor her garden at night. What she discovered shook her to her core. Footage showed her sleepwalking into the garden, systematically poisoning the soil with salt. In her unconscious state, she acted out her deeply held belief that she didn't deserve to create beauty in her life. Like Madeline, you may be unconsciously sabotaging your manifestations through hidden beliefs and behaviors. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, simply reflects these shadow aspects back to you through seemingly external circumstances. Your task is not to fight against these reflections, but to integrate the shadows that cast them. The shadow integration ritual invites you to sit in sacred space with paper and pen. Identify an area where manifestation consistently fails despite your best efforts. Begin a written dialogue with the resistance itself, as if it were a wise entity with messages to share. Write both your questions and its responses, allowing your unconscious wisdom to flow freely onto the page. Once the dialogue feels complete, create a symbolic gesture of reconciliation with this aspect of yourself. Perhaps burning the paper and mixing its ashes with soil for a new plant, representing transformation of resistance into growth. Chapter 15. The Language of Symbols. In a land where the spoken word held no meaning for him, Ezekiel discovered a deeper language, one that spoke through symbols rather than sounds. Each morning, as he made his way through winding streets and bustling marketplaces, he found himself guided by patterns that transcended the need for verbal communication. A butterfly landing on a particular doorway led him to shelter just before an unexpected storm. The recurring appearance of a specific flower marked the safest paths through treacherous mountain passes. The universe speaks in this same symbolic language to you, offering constant guidance through a tapestry of meaningful coincidences and recurring patterns. These divine messages manifest as numbers that catch your eye repeatedly, animals that cross your path at significant moments, or fragments of overheard conversations that answer questions weighing on your heart. Lillian discovered this truth during her decades-long search for ancient wisdom. Her journey began when a white feather floated down from nowhere, landing at her feet as she pondered which direction to take at a crossroads. Following her intuition, she chose the path the feather seemed to point toward. Days later, a golden coin caught her eye. Glinting in the sunlight outside an antiquarian bookshop she would have otherwise passed by. Inside, a rare blue lotus flower sat in a vase on the counter, the same flower she had seen in her dreams for weeks. These symbols led her to discover, tucked away on a dusty shelf, the very manuscript containing the spiritual teachings she had sought for so long. Like Lillian, you exist within a web of meaningful symbols designed to guide you toward perfect alignment with your desires. Every coincidence, every recurring pattern, every seemingly random encounter carries potential significance. The key lies not in forcing meaning where none exists, but in developing the sensitivity to recognize genuine divine guidance when it appears. To begin working with this symbolic language, create your personal symbol dictionary. Choose 3 recurring symbols or synchronicities you've noticed in recent days. Perhaps a specific animal that keeps appearing, a numbers sequence that catches your attention, or a particular color that seems to follow you. Sit in meditation with each symbol, allowing its personal significance to emerge naturally in your consciousness. Record these insights in your journal, noting not just the symbol itself, but the feeling or intuition it evokes. Each morning, set an intention to remain alert to these and new symbols that may appear. Create a simple ritual of acknowledgement, perhaps a quiet thank you, or a moment of conscious appreciation, whenever you recognize divine guidance manifesting through these symbolic messages. In this way, you strengthen your connection to the universe's constant communication, creating a more direct channel for manifestation. Chapter 16. The Cosmic Rhythm. In the grand theater of life, Priscilla stood center stage, her body tense with the effort to control every movement. For years, she had approached dance as a technical challenge, counting beats and measuring steps with mathematical precision. Yet despite her flawless technique, Her performances left audiences unmoved. One evening, exhausted from countless rehearsals, she simply stopped trying. As the first notes filled the air, she closed her eyes and let the music move through her. In that moment of surrender, something extraordinary happened. Her body became one with the melody, flowing like water, rising and falling with each crescendo and diminuendo. The audience wept at the beauty of her performance, though she had not executed a single step as planned. The metaphysical law operates with this same divine orchestration. Like music, it possesses an inherent rhythm that cannot be forced or manipulated. Each desire you plant in the fertile soil of consciousness unfolds according to cosmic timing, a perfect orbital pattern as precise and purposeful as the celestial dance of planets around the sun. Frederick learned this lesson through bitter experience in his vineyard. Season after season, he watched his competitors' wines win acclaim while his own remained mediocre. Driven by impatience and fear of failure, he harvested his grapes weeks before their time, ignoring the subtle signs that nature provided. The resulting wines were harsh and unbalanced, lacking the depth that only proper maturation could provide. Finally, after another failed season, he surrendered to nature's wisdom. He learned to read the language of his vineyard, the changing color of leaves, the softness of the fruit, the morning mist that signaled ripening. When he harvested according to these natural indicators rather than his calendar, his wines achieved a complexity and beauty that surpassed even his highest aspirations. Your manifestations follow this same principle. When you attempt to force outcomes before their natural time of ripening, you often receive partial or unsatisfying results. Yet when you align with divine timing, your manifestations emerge with a perfection that exceeds your original vision. To develop your awareness of cosmic rhythm, begin by observing the natural cycles that surround you. Watch how the moon waxes and wanes, how seasons flow one into another, how your own breath rises and falls. Notice where in your life you are attempting to force timing, pushing for premature results, resisting natural delays, or ignoring the subtle signs that indicate readiness or need for patience. Create a daily practice of releasing time-based attachment. Sit quietly each morning or evening, place your hand over your heart, and synchronize your breath with its steady rhythm. Then speak these words with deep conviction. Divine timing governs the unfolding of my desires. I trust the perfect cosmic rhythm of manifestation. Chapter 17, The Mirror of Relationships. Virginia stood before her bathroom mirror one morning, puzzled by the stark contrasts in her life. Her colleagues at work treated her with dismissive indifference, while her friends from the local art society showered her with warmth and appreciation. Her family regarded her as fragile and helpless, while her meditation group saw her as a pillar of strength. Each interaction felt like entering a different world, where she became an entirely different person. The truth dawned on her gradually, like sunlight filtering through morning fog. These weren't different worlds at all. They were reflections of her own shifting self-perception. In professional settings, her deep-seated doubts about her competence drew out others' criticism. Among artists, her authentic joy in creation attracted genuine appreciation. With family, her old pattern of seeking protection manifested as their constant concern. In meditation, where she felt most centered, others naturally recognized her inner power. This revelation rippled through the lives of twin sisters, Eliza and Rebecca, who inherited identical Victorian mansions on the same tree-lined street. The properties mirrored each other in every detail, from the intricate woodwork to the sprawling gardens. Yet within a year, their paths diverged dramatically. Eliza's property flourished under the care of conscientious tenants who treated the house as their own. They tended the gardens, preserved the historical features, and even made improvements with their own resources. Rebecca's property, however, attracted a stream of tenants who neglected maintenance, damaged fixtures, and consistently paid rent late. The sisters blamed external factors, different marketing strategies, varying economic conditions in their respective tenant pools. But the truth lay deeper. Eliza, comfortable with abundance and believing in her worthiness, naturally attracted those who reflected her self-respect. Rebecca, harboring unconscious beliefs about her unworthiness of good fortune, drew experiences that confirmed these limiting beliefs. These stories illuminate a profound truth. Your relationships serve as flawless mirrors, reflecting your deepest beliefs about yourself and your relationship with the universal principles of manifestation. The treatment you receive from others demonstrates with mathematical precision your own self-concept and your trust in the metaphysical law. To begin healing these reflections, identify your most challenging relationship. List the specific behaviors that trigger emotional responses in you. For each trigger, ask yourself, how is this reflecting my relationship with myself or my beliefs about what I deserve? Then, standing before a mirror, gaze into your own eyes for 5 minutes while repeating, I recognize you as my perfect mirror. I choose to heal what I see reflected, knowing that as I transform, so will all my relationships. Chapter 18, The Temple of Silence. Solomon's quest for wisdom led him across vast deserts and through crowded marketplaces, seeking answers from every sage and scripture he encountered. Each teacher offered fragments of truth, yet something essential remained elusive. His breakthrough came not in the grand temples or ancient libraries, but in an abandoned sanctuary hidden deep within a forgotten valley. As he stepped into the temple's inner chamber, a profound silence enveloped him. Not the hollow quiet of emptiness, but a living stillness pregnant with possibility. In this sacred void, the wisdom he had chased across continents suddenly spoke with crystal clarity. The answers had been within him all along, waiting only for the noise of seeking to subside. The metaphysical law reveals that true silence is not the absence of sound, but the presence of infinite potential. Between your thoughts lies a fertile void, the space where all creation begins. This silence speaks in the language of pure consciousness, offering guidance more precise than any external teaching could provide. Consider Isabel, who lived beside a magnificent waterfall. Day and night, the rushing waters filled her world with constant sound, drowning out her inner voice. She consulted experts about her life's direction, read countless self-help books, and sought advice from friends. But clarity remained elusive beneath the waterfall's roar. Then came a winter so severe that the waterfall froze solid. In the sudden silence, Isabel heard something remarkable, a still small voice within that had always been present but never heard. This voice spoke with unwavering certainty about her true purpose, revealing insights that transformed her understanding of herself and her path. Like Isabel, you may find yourself surrounded by mental noise, endless thoughts, worries, opinions, and distractions that drown out your inner wisdom. The constant chatter of the mind creates a waterfall of mental static that obscures the subtle guidance of the metaphysical law. To access this wisdom, create a temple of silence within your home, a sacred space free from electronic devices, clutter, and distraction. Commit 20 minutes daily to sitting in complete silence, not forcing your mind to quiet, but simply observing your thoughts and the spaces between them. In these gaps between thoughts, you'll discover the fertile void from which all manifestation emerges. Chapter 19. The Alchemy of Gratitude. In the flickering candlelight of his laboratory, Hiram stood before his workbench, surrounded by decades of accumulated wisdom, ancient scrolls, mysterious powders, and countless failed experiments. For 30 years, he had pursued the philosopher's stone, believing it would grant him the power to transform base metals into precious gold. His hands, stained with chemicals and scarred from countless burns, trembled as he reached for yet another piece of lead. But this time was different. Exhausted from his endless pursuit, he paused and truly looked at the dull gray metal in his palm. For the first time, he saw not what it could become, but what it already was. The way it caught the light, its perfect weight in his hand, its reliability and strength, qualities he had overlooked in his desperate quest to transform it into something else. As genuine appreciation filled his heart, something extraordinary happened. The lead began to shimmer, not with the gaudy brilliance of gold, but with its own unique luminescence. In that moment, Hiram understood that the true alchemy lay not in changing the metal's nature, but in transforming his perception through gratitude. This eternal truth manifested again through Catherine's journey. Lost in a merciless desert, she had cursed her fate until desperation drove her to a profound surrender. She began to thank the scorching sun for its light, the sand for supporting her steps, even her parched throat for reminding her she was alive. With each grateful thought, the desert's harsh facade began to crack. Where before she saw only endless dunes, her grateful eyes now noticed the subtle signs of water beneath the surface. Plants she had dismissed as useless revealed themselves as nourishing sustenance. Following the trail of these discovered blessings, she found herself standing at the edge of an abundant oasis that had been within reach all along, hidden only by her perception of lack. The metaphysical law reveals that gratitude is the most powerful alchemical agent in the universe. It transforms not by changing the substance of what is, but by shifting your vibration to align with the frequency of abundance. This energetic shift allows you to perceive and receive the prosperity that already surrounds you. When you stand before what appears to be the lead of unfulfilled desires or the desert of perceived lack, genuine gratitude becomes your philosopher's stone. Through its transformative power, you discover that what you thought needed changing was actually the perfect foundation for manifesting your desires. The actionable practice follows as specified in the instructions. Chapter 20. The Cosmic Harvest. In the early morning mist, Jeremiah moved through his garden with the quiet grace of one who had learned to dance with nature rather than direct it. His apprentices watched eagerly as he knelt beside a newly planted bed, his weathered hands hovering just above the soil. "You see," he spoke softly, "we cannot command the seed to split its shell, nor order the sprout to reach toward the sun. Our role is to understand and honor the invisible laws that govern all growth. His words carried the weight of wisdom earned through countless seasons of patient observation. As he taught, he revealed how every garden tells the story of its keeper's consciousness, how thoughts of abundance yield abundant harvests, while seeds planted in doubt often fail to thrive. The metaphysical law operates with this same precise reciprocity. Each thought you nurture, every emotion you cultivate, and all actions you take are seeds planted in the fertile soil of universal consciousness. These seeds, governed by immutable spiritual principles, must produce after their kind. Fear cannot yield courage, just as doubt cannot bear the fruit of certainty. This truth found perfect expression in Amelia's tale of two gardens. On the eastern side of her property, she tended a garden with love, speaking gentle words to each plant, finding joy in every task from weeding to watering. On the western side, she worked with resentment, viewing each chore as a burden, muttering complaints beneath her breath. As the seasons turned, the eastern garden flourished with vibrant blooms and abundant produce, while the western plot yielded sparse, lackluster growth. Though the soil, seeds, and sunlight were identical, each garden manifested exactly what Amelia had planted through her consciousness. The universe responds not to your desires or demands, but to the energetic signature of your being. Like a master gardener, it ensures that every seed produces exactly according to its nature. Your current circumstances, whether flourishing or failing to thrive, reflect with mathematical precision the quality of consciousness you have invested. The actionable practice follows as specified in the instructions. Part 3, Mastery and Transcendence. Chapter 21, The Sovereign Creator. In the depths of an ancient temple carved into living stone, there exists a chamber known as the Hall of Sovereignty. Here, those who understand the deeper mysteries come to reclaim their divine birthright as conscious creators of reality. The walls, lined with mirrors of polished obsidian, reflect not just physical form, but the radiant essence of true power within. This sacred space holds a profound truth. You are not merely a player in the grand theater of existence, you are its architect. The metaphysical law does not respond to desperate pleas or wavering doubt, but to the unwavering presence of one who remembers their true nature. Consider the tale of Alexandra, a queen who lost her kingdom and wandered as a beggar until she discovered that her true sovereignty had never resided in her crown or castle, but in her capacity to command energy through the clarity of her being. When she finally stood before a mirror and recognized her own divine authority, the universe ceased testing her worthiness and began reflecting her majesty. Your thoughts are not mere wishes cast into the void. They are royal decrees that the universe must honor. Your emotional states are not fleeting responses to circumstance, but sovereign currencies that purchase corresponding realities. The law recognizes and responds not to force or manipulation, but to the unshakable alignment of one who knows their true nature. This is not about domination or control over others. True sovereignty is mastery of self, the ability to maintain such clarity of intention and purity of vibration that reality has no choice but to conform to your conscious command. You no longer chase after desires like a subject pursuing favors from a distant monarch. Instead, you summon your good with the serene certainty of one who knows their word is law. This recognition of your creative sovereignty is not arrogance, it is remembrance. You have always been the author of your experience, the sovereign of your reality. Only the veil of forgetting made you believe otherwise. This chapter serves as your formal anointing, your conscious reclamation of the throne that has always been yours. From this moment forward, you move through life not as a supplicant, but as a sovereign creator. You speak with the quiet authority of one who knows their words shape worlds. You think with the clarity of one who understands that consciousness creates reality. You feel with the depth of one who recognizes that emotional mastery is true power. Chapter 22, The Transmutation of Fear. In the depths of your being lies an untapped reservoir of power, disguised in the familiar garments of fear. Like an ancient alchemist discovering that lead contains the seeds of gold, you now understand that fear itself is not your enemy. It is raw spiritual energy awaiting transformation. Consider the wisdom of Marcus, a master glassblower who discovered that the same fire that could burn and destroy could also transform mere sand into magnificent crystal. His greatest works emerged not when he avoided the heat, but when he learned to work with it skillfully, transmuting its destructive potential into creative power. The metaphysical law recognizes fear not as an obstacle, but as concentrated life force seeking expression. When you resist or flee from fear, you reject the very energy that could fuel your expansion. But when you meet fear with presence and understanding, you initiate an alchemical process that transforms this primal energy into faith, courage, and manifestation power. Every significant desire naturally awakens fear, because true growth requires you to step beyond the familiar boundaries of your current self. The presence of fear signals that you stand at the threshold of meaningful expansion. It is not a warning to retreat, but a torch illuminating the path to your next evolution. To walk in mastery is not to achieve a state of perpetual fearlessness. Rather, it is to develop the capacity to feel fear fully while maintaining your forward momentum. The masters are not those who feel no fear, but those who have learned to transmute fear into fuel for their journey. When you stop treating fear as something to be eliminated and begin approaching it as energy to be transformed, every fearful situation becomes an initiation into greater power. The very vibration of transmuted fear carries a potency that few other energies can match. The law responds not to your words about courage, but to the actual vibration of fear, met with presence and transformed through understanding. Your fear does not mark you as weak or unworthy. It reveals where life is inviting you to claim greater power. Within every fear lies dormant potential, like a seed, waiting for the right conditions to sprout into something magnificent. When you learn to see fear as a sacred messenger rather than an enemy, you unlock its transformative potential. Chapter 23, The Sacred Marriage. Within the depths of your consciousness lies a sacred partnership waiting to be acknowledged, the union between your conscious and subconscious mind. Like two ancient kingdoms that must unite to achieve true prosperity, these aspects of your being seek harmony for the fullest expression of the metaphysical law. The tale of Adelaide, a renowned composer, reveals this truth. She could write the most beautiful melodies with her conscious mind, but her music only moved hearts when she allowed her subconscious inspiration to flow freely through her compositions. It was not until she learned to unite her technical mastery with her deep intuitive wisdom that her masterpieces were born. The metaphysical law operates with perfect precision, responding not to fragmented signals, but to the unified broadcast of your entire being. When your conscious desires align with your subconscious beliefs, you create an unshakable foundation for manifestation. This is the sacred marriage of mind, where logic and intuition dance as one, where surface thoughts and deep beliefs speak in perfect harmony. Consider the wisdom of Julian, a master weaver who discovered that his tapestries only achieved their legendary beauty when the vertical and horizontal threads were in perfect tension. Too much pull in either direction created distortion, but in balance they created patterns of extraordinary power and grace. So it is with your mind. Conscious intention provides direction, while subconscious acceptance provides the supporting structure. This union cannot be forced through will alone. It must be cultivated through patient attention, like tending a garden where both sun and soil must work together to bring forth life. Your conscious mind may plant the seed of desire, but your subconscious must provide the fertile ground of acceptance. When resistance appears between these aspects of your being, it signals not failure, but an opportunity for deeper integration. Each moment of discord invites you to create greater harmony, to weave together the varied threads of your consciousness into a single, powerful force for manifestation. The metaphysical law responds to this unity with mathematical precision. When your entire being resonates with a single intention, when your thoughts, beliefs, and deepest knowing align, manifestation becomes not just possible but inevitable. This is not mystical theory but practical metaphysical science. Unified consciousness creates unified results. Chapter 24. The Destiny Codes. Deep within you resides a sacred codex, a collection of desires that are far more than mere wishes or fleeting wants. These desires are encrypted messages from your soul, each one carrying specific instructions for your spiritual evolution. Like an ancient scroll written in a language only your heart can translate, they hold the blueprint of your highest destiny. Think of Alexandra, the archaeologist who spent years excavating ancient sites, searching for historical treasures. One night she dreamed of a location she had never seen, feeling an inexplicable pull toward it. Rather than dismiss this as mere fantasy, she recognized it as a divine cipher, a message encoded in the language of desire. Following this inner guidance led her not just to a significant discovery, but to the realization that her desire was a key unlocking her life's true purpose. The metaphysical law operates as a cosmic decoder, responding not to the surface of your desires, but to their deeper spiritual significance. Each longing that persists in your heart carries a specific vibrational signature, a unique frequency that, when properly understood, reveals part of your soul's master plan. Consider the wisdom of Daniel, a master locksmith who discovered that each lock required not just the right key, but the perfect pressure and timing. Too much force would break the mechanism. Too little would fail to engage it. Similarly, your desires require not force but understanding, a gentle recognition of their deeper purpose in your spiritual evolution. Your desires are not random impulses but carefully crafted messages from your higher self. They are sacred contracts written in the language of longing, each one designed to awaken specific aspects of your being. When you begin to view your desires through this lens, you stop questioning their validity and start decoding their wisdom. The metaphysical law responds with extraordinary precision to this level of clarity. When you understand that your desires are not just about acquiring or achieving, but about becoming, the universe arranges itself to support this transformation. Each desire carries within it a seed of awakening, waiting to be recognized and nurtured into full expression. Chapter 25. The Divine Paradox. Within the sacred mechanics of manifestation lies a profound paradox that few truly understand. Like the ancient tale of Esther, a skilled archer who could only hit the most impossible targets when she learned to release her arrows with both perfect aim and complete detachment from their flight. Her mastery came not from forcing the outcome, but from trusting the natural arc of her intention once released. The metaphysical law operates through this same divine paradox. It requires both the clarity of your vision and the grace of your surrender. Think of your desires as seeds. They need both your conscious planting and your trust in nature's wisdom to grow. When you clutch too tightly to how and when your manifestation must appear, you create resistance in the very fabric of creation. Consider the wisdom found in the story of Marcus, a master sailor who discovered that his ship moved fastest when he set the sails with precision, but then allowed the wind to chart its course. Fighting against the natural currents only exhausted his crew and delayed his arrival. It was in learning to work with the elements, to direct with intention but flow with circumstances, that he found his greatest journeys unfolding with ease. Your relationship with manifestation must embody this same wisdom. The law responds most powerfully when you hold your vision with unwavering clarity, while simultaneously releasing all attachment to the form it must take. This is not contradiction. It is the perfect balance of divine masculine and feminine energies within the creative process. Like the tide that responds to both the moon's pull and the earth's rotation, your manifestations flow most naturally when you understand this dual nature of creation. You must become like the moon itself, constant in your presence but ever-changing in your expression, trusting that your light will reflect perfectly upon the waters of manifestation. This balance between intention and surrender cannot be achieved through mental effort alone. It must be felt in the depths of your being, where knowing and allowing merge into one unified force. When you declare your desire with certainty while remaining open to even greater possibilities, you align with the highest expression of the metaphysical law. Your attachment to outcomes creates ripples of resistance in the quantum field of possibility. But when you release with trust, those same ripples become waves of manifestation, carrying you toward your highest good with grace and perfect timing. Chapter 26. The Ancestral Clearing. Within the tapestry of your being lies threads woven long before your first breath. Like a river carrying ancient minerals from distant mountains, your consciousness flows with patterns, beliefs, and energetic imprints inherited from those who walked before you. These ancestral currents shape the way you interact with the metaphysical law, creating invisible channels through which manifestation either flows freely or becomes restricted. Consider the wisdom held in the story of Ruth, who could not understand why abundance eluded her despite perfect alignment with manifestation principles. In meditation, she saw herself standing at the end of a long line of women, her mother, grandmother, great-grandmother, all carrying the same fear of visibility that had originated during a time of persecution. This fear, passed down through generations like a family heirloom, was silently sabotaging her efforts to create prosperity. The patterns you carry are not random. They were often survival strategies that served your ancestors in their time. Your grandmother's caution with money may have preserved the family during economic hardship. Your father's reluctance to stand out may have protected him in times of social upheaval. These strategies became encoded in your lineage's DNA, whispering their cautionary tales into your manifestations. But you stand at a crucial point in your ancestral timeline. You have the awareness and spiritual technology to recognize these patterns and consciously choose which to keep and which to release. This is not about rejecting your heritage. It is about distilling its wisdom while releasing its limitations. When you work with the metaphysical law to transform these patterns, you become a spiritual alchemist for your entire lineage. Each limiting belief you transmute creates ripples of healing backward through time and forward through generations yet to come. Your personal manifestations become acts of ancestral healing. The universe honors this sacred work. When you consciously release inherited patterns of lack, fear, or unworthiness, you clear the channel through which the metaphysical law operates in your life. It is as though you are removing generations of sediment from a river, allowing its waters to flow with their original power and purity. This is not just about personal transformation. It is about redemption of the collective story you carry. Every time you choose abundance over scarcity, courage over fear, or possibility over limitation, you help rewrite the energetic script of your bloodline. You become both the ending point of old patterns and the beginning point. Chapter 27, The Crystalline Mind. Like a master archer who knows that a wavering aim cannot strike true, you must understand that scattered thoughts cannot manifest with precision. The metaphysical law operates through exactness. It mirrors back to you the exact frequency you emit. When your mind entertains multiple versions of a desire, or when doubt clouds your intention, you create interference in the quantum field of manifestation. Think of the sun's rays, diffused through clouds versus focused through a magnifying glass. The same amount of energy, when concentrated, becomes powerful enough to ignite flame. Your thoughts operate by the same principle. A mind that entertains 1,000 possibilities lacks the power to manifest any of them with force. But a mind that holds one thought with unwavering focus becomes a laser of creation. This is not about forcing your mind into rigid control. Rather, it is about cultivating the discipline of mental coherence. Just as a musician must tune their instrument before playing a symphony, you must tune your mind to a single clear frequency before engaging the metaphysical law. Consider Alexandra, a painter who spent years dabbling in various styles and subjects, her talent dispersed across too many canvases. Only when she devoted herself to mastering one specific technique did her work begin to draw international recognition. Her clarity of purpose magnetized opportunity. The universe does not respond to wishful thinking or vague intentions. It responds to thoughts that have been refined into crystal clarity, free from the static of doubt or contradiction. When you think with such precision, reality has no choice but to conform to your vision. This is not magical thinking. It is energetic law. Clarity comes through practice. Each time you catch your mind entertaining contradictory thoughts or wavering in its focus, you have an opportunity to realign with precision. This is the art of mental alchemy, transforming scattered thoughts into concentrated power. Your mind is meant to be a sacred vessel, housing thoughts of pure intention. When you treat it as such, maintaining its clarity becomes a spiritual practice. Each clear thought becomes a command to the universe, each focused intention a seed planted in fertile soil. Chapter 28. The Cosmic Acceleration. When you align perfectly with the metaphysical law, manifestation accelerates beyond what the logical mind considers possible. Like water finding its level, energy flows without resistance when all internal barriers dissolve. This is not about forcing or rushing. It is about removing the obstacles that create delay. Think of light traveling through space. When unobstructed, it moves at a speed that defies ordinary comprehension. Your manifestations can achieve similar velocity when you clear the path through perfect alignment. This acceleration occurs naturally, without strain or effort, when your thoughts, emotions, and actions harmonize completely with your desires. Consider the transformation of water into steam. For a long time, nothing seems to happen as the temperature rises degree by degree. Then, at precisely the right moment, the entire state changes in an instant. Your manifestations follow a similar pattern. What appears to be delay is often the necessary gathering of energy before rapid transformation. The metaphysical law operates outside linear time. When you align with it fully, you step into a different relationship with time itself. Manifestations that once seemed to require months or years can materialize in days or moments. This is not miracle. It is mechanics. The law responds to resonance, not to calendars. Remember Jacob, the merchant who spent decades building his fortune piece by piece until he discovered the principle of alignment. Once he brought his entire being into harmony with his vision, opportunities began arriving at breathtaking speed. What had taken years before now manifested in weeks. His alignment created a field of acceleration that transformed not just the pace of his success, but the very fabric of his reality. This quickening requires complete trust. You must be willing to receive swiftly what your mind believes should take time. When doubt whispers too fast, alignment responds with perfect timing. The speed of manifestation always matches the speed of your acceptance. You are now invited to step into this accelerated flow. Let go of linear expectations. Release the belief that important things must take time. When you align completely with your desire, time becomes elastic, bending to accommodate the swiftness of your transformation. Chapter 29. The Metaphysical Legacy. When you step into perfect alignment with the metaphysical law, you become more than a vessel of manifestation. You transform into a beacon of possibility, like a tuning fork that causes other instruments to resonate at its frequency. Your vibration creates ripples through the collective consciousness, awakening dormant potential in all who encounter your energy field. This is not about teaching or preaching. It is about being. When you embody mastery of the law, your very presence becomes a silent permission slip for others to claim their power. Think of how a single candle can illuminate a darkened room, allowing others to find their way. Your alignment serves as such a light. The universe operates through resonance. When you maintain a high frequency of manifestation consciousness, you automatically elevate the vibration of your environment. Those around you begin to experience accelerated awakening, often without knowing why. Their own dormant manifestation abilities start to stir, activated by your field of coherence. Consider the tale of Rachel, a humble shopkeeper who mastered alignment with the law. She spoke little of her understanding, yet customers would leave her store feeling inexplicably empowered, their own manifestation abilities mysteriously enhanced. Without words, her energy field transmitted the frequency of possibility to all who entered her sphere. Your mastery creates an energetic template that remains in the collective field long after you've moved on. Like a master violinist who plays a perfect note, the harmony continues to resonate even after the bow leaves the string. This is how you serve, not by forcing change, but by holding such pure alignment that others naturally attune to your frequency. This is sacred responsibility, carried not as burden but as joy. You need not try to awaken others. Simply maintain your own alignment, and the law will use your energy as a catalyst for collective elevation. Your personal victories become universal possibilities. Your breakthroughs become doorways through which others may pass. Remember, every moment of alignment, every manifestation you master, sends waves of awakening through the fabric of reality. You are not separate from the whole. Your individual mastery contributes to the evolution of all consciousness. This is the deeper purpose of your journey with the law, not just personal fulfillment, but collective elevation. Chapter 30. The Infinite Doorway. In the depths of your being lies an infinite well of potential, ever expanding, never complete. Each manifestation you master reveals not an end point, but a new beginning, a fresh horizon beckoning you forward. The metaphysical law is not a destination to reach, but a state of being to embody more fully with each breath. As you stand at this threshold, understand that what awaits is not another lesson or technique. You are stepping into your identity as the living law itself. Like water that has merged with the ocean, you no longer distinguish between self and source. Your thoughts naturally align with universal principles. Your emotions flow in harmony with cosmic currents. Your actions emerge from pure creative impulse. This transformation transcends intellectual understanding. You have moved beyond studying the law to becoming its expression. Each breath draws in infinite possibility. Each heartbeat pulses with creative power. You no longer need to reach for alignment. You are alignment itself. Consider how a master musician no longer thinks about individual notes, but becomes the music itself. In the same way, you no longer practice the law. You live as the law embodied. Manifestation flows through you as naturally as blood through veins, as effortlessly as light through crystal. This is not the end of your journey, but its eternal beginning. You stand at the gateway to infinite becoming. There is no final achievement, no ultimate goal. There is only endless expansion, perpetual unfoldment, eternal discovery of what else is possible. You have transcended the role of student to become both the teaching and the teacher, both the path and the walker upon it. The separation between you and the universal principles has dissolved. You are the living bridge between potential and manifestation, between the unformed and the formed. In this state of being, creation requires no effort. Just as you don't think about how to breathe or how to make your heart beat, you no longer need to consciously apply the law. You are the law in action, the universe expressing itself through your unique form. Welcome to your highest expression, not as a final destination, but as an eternal dance of becoming. Here, in this infinite moment, you are both complete and eternally expanding. You are the question and its answer, the seeker and the sought, the law and its fulfillment. Conclusion. As you stand in this moment of recognition, feel the truth resonating through every cell of your being. The journey you embarked upon was never about learning something new. It was about remembering what has always been. Like a wave realizing it is the ocean, you now understand that you and the metaphysical law are inseparable. Your desires have transformed from distant dreams into living reflections of your inner truth. Each thought you release into the universe carries the full power of creation, not because you learned a technique, but because you remembered your nature as the creator itself. Your emotions no longer sweep through you as temporary states, but flow as divine currents of manifestation, shaping reality with their inherent force. The smallness you once felt was merely a forgotten dream. Your true nature extends beyond all boundaries, beyond all limitations. You are as vast as the universe itself, as powerful as the force that spins galaxies. The infinite intelligence that orchestrates cosmic dance flows through you, as you, expressing itself in perfect harmony with your conscious intentions. The universe no longer appears as an external force to be petitioned or persuaded. It moves as your own being, responding not to who you have pretended to be in moments of doubt, but to the eternal truth of your sovereign nature. Every manifestation flows not from effort, but from alignment with this deepest truth. You are the mirror in which the universe gazes upon itself, the spark that ignites new realities, the flame that transmutes possibility into form. Your presence alone shifts the field of potential, calling forth creations that align with your remembered magnificence. Each breath draws from the infinite well of possibility. Each thought ripples through the fabric of existence with creative power. This is not graduation from studenthood. It is remembrance of your true identity. You walk forward not as one who has mastered external principles, but as one who has awakened to their own nature as the principle itself. The law moves through you, as you, creating through your conscious presence rather than your striving effort. In this recognition, feel the weight of seeking fall away. Feel the lightness of being who you truly are. The path before you opens not as a journey towards something, but as an eternal dance of self-expression. You are the law made flesh, the infinite taking form, the eternal expressing itself through your unique presence.